How are you? It's so nice to see you finally.
Well, I'm pretty good. It's great to see you too. I'm looking forward to this.
We tried to schedule this for a very long time, but we both messed up. We have different sleeping patterns.
We realized that as well. I mean, yeah, it's been a long time. We should have done this many years ago actually, but now we're here. I'm very happy about it.
Me too. I'm so thankful that you're doing this, and I'm sure everyone will appreciate it. Big Win Board, and everyone. We're very eager to hear what you have to say. So,
okay. I'm not sure what you're gonna ask, but I'm sure it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah,
so, let's go.
So. I think so. Okay, so maybe you can just shortly introduce yourself to those who don't know who you are yet.
Well, my name is, I guess, at Big Win Board, I'm Nolimit Jonas. I'm one of the founders of Nolimit City, and since the start of Nolimit, I've been working with pretty much everything. At the beginning, it was more a technical role, and then I switched over to working pretty much only with product and game production.
Were you always involved in the iGaming industry before you started Nolimit City, or was this a new venture for you? Or
no, actually, I'm a bit of a dinosaur in the industry, which means I've done it for like 20 years or so. I mean, me and also my longtime partner, we started up working with poker, and through poker, I got in contact with that company was sort of bought into Net Entertainment, which at the time was together with Betsson. It was like one company, and we came there, and for the first time I saw slots, and this was like 20 years ago, and I realized like the business model for slots is great. I mean, poker you don't really know, and by that time also rakeback had started to come around, which sort of pretty much destroyed the model. So I got the sort of taste up for slots, but as it turned out, my years at NetEnt, it was short. It was only a 2-year stretch. I hooked up with some rich Turkish guys who said we should go and build an operator, and we need some tech guys. So we did that for a couple of years. We founded Common and did that, and I worked there pretty much until it was sold to Sherry, and then for the first time in like many years, we did exactly what we wanted to do, which was slots, and then we started Nolimit. Well, that was like 11 years ago now.
That's a crazy journey. There was a lot of things that was happening in your description there. Come on, and you saw a NetEnt and loads of things I didn't know of.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy, and I mean, it was a different time. I mean, you have to understand, like NetEnt 20 years ago, that was something totally different, but still, I felt immediately that slots and internet was the perfect combination to build a good company. So it never left my mind that we have to do this at some point.
Yeah, and I remember actually the first time I was approached by Nolimit City through Big Win Board. When that was way back when you were a tiny provider, and asking if maybe you could be featured on Big Win Board, and I was like,
yeah, but I mean, I remember those days. I mean, for the first couple of years, it was a lot of technical stuff. We worked on the platform. We wanted to have a solid sort of platform to build a little bit different stuff around, but at some point I was like, okay, we need to start selling. So I just quit the tech part and I became a sales guy. And I remember just running around in Malta, just talking to old friends from the industry, trying to approach everyone, and going out with the account managers, drinking beer and having dinners and getting drunk. Basically I did anything just to get a deal, which and then it started to happen, a few deals here and there, a few aggregators we integrated, and then we were up and running. But I mean, we were small, we were not good, we didn't really have a plan, I mean, by that time, from when we started, or from when we had the idea of building a slot company, back in the days, you only had to build games and you were pretty much successful. But when we started up with, I mean, there was some kind of competition. The operators, they were like a little bit, we're not going to integrate you guys. You're too small, and we don't want all types of games. We just have this deal with someone else, and we don't want to work with you. So it wasn't that easy at the beginning. But yeah, we just kept on working, building more and more games, trying to find, find our way forward. But, to be honest, we were quite shitty. I mean, a lot of the people that we hired, they were ex-NetEnt people. And there was an inheritance from how to do things at NetEnt that sort of came into Nolimit as well. And I mean, there was already a NetEnt, so the operators didn't need another one. So we didn't really bring anything new to the market, basically.
So was this sort of your vision going into Nolimit City, what you carried from NetEnt? You sort of, was that what you wanted to do basically, and then it turned into something else, or?
No, but I mean, the first plan, I didn't really think anything about like brand and style, and because it was just about building games. You released a game, it was successful, and that's it. Like next month, you release another game. So we didn't really think anything. We just hoped that it was going to work out once we started releasing games, and it didn't. I mean, first of all, nobody wanted to integrate our games directly. We had to go through, most of the times, through aggregators, and they were like, okay, you're small and shitty. Okay, I know you from before, so we might do you a favor, but we're still going to take like 30% of everything just because you're small. So it was like uphill everywhere. But you keep on building your portfolio, and we had a couple of half good games that we got a little bit of confidence, and then we kept on working.
Yeah, because for me, when everything changed was probably when you released. I mean, Tombstone was awesome, but Deadwood was for me the defining moment when I realized that Nolimit City was a force to be reckoned with. For me personally, that's where I went like, oh shit. But Tombstone definitely as well. But for me, Deadwood.
Yeah, I mean, Tombstone was a important game for us because it showed us that we did a little bit of a dark, high volatility game. It wasn't that popular, but it was popular for the streamers because that was the years when streaming sort of started to pick up a little bit. And I mean, this was like 2018, 19 or something. And by that time, we didn't really do well. We were quite small. We were probably gonna run out of money. I don't know, in a year's time, or maybe 1.5 years time, and we sort of came to the conclusion that we have to do something. And I was actually out talking to people, maybe looking for possible investments, like, can you help us out? But it wasn't really any interest, to be honest. They were like, okay, you're small. We're not really interested. You haven't really done anything special. It's like, all right, you're actually, you're right. We didn't. But I mean, by the time, like end of 2019, we took a decision where I was like, all right, I've been doing everything, a lot of different things in the company. I was like, okay, I'm gonna focus on product, and I'm gonna do things differently. Because I mean, during 2019, I just started playing hit games like Bonanza and Book of Dead and everything that sort of Starburst, everything that generated a lot of money, I wanted to play. Especially Bonanza, I played a lot just to sort of understand what made it good. And I realized that all of those games that really did well, they were filling a void. That's why you can't really copy them and be successful. I mean, they came with something new, all of them in their own way. I mean, Starburst with small bets and free spin promotions, and Bonanza with some kind of high volatility new model unheard of before. So I sort of sat down and started thinking. I was like, all right, let's try to fill a void in the market. So we looked at it, and it's like, well, all games are kind of boring. They don't really. It's like fruits and jams and stuff, and I mean, it didn't feel like the audience I wanted to talk to. And also, like, casino players tend to play games that they start playing when they log on for the first time. So I couldn't really compete with old timers that played casino games for years. So we started to let's focus on the new generation. And what do the new generation do? Yeah, they're out of Facebook and YouTube and Twitch, and so we tried. Okay, let's try to be good there. And so quite, we just realized we need to approach the streamers in a good way. So then it's just quite natural. What do streamers want? They want high volatility. They want high max wins. How are they gonna get it? Well, they're not gonna get it 100,000x win by just grinding the main game. They have to be able to buy it. So, all right, let's take bonus buy to a new level and modernize that in a way so streamers actually can use it in a good way. Plus, like, if somebody how are we going to market ourselves? We didn't have any money. Yeah, let's do replay and winners so people can see somebody else got a win. I can feel it out. And let's just do themes and games that we think the new younger generation think is more interesting. So I think Punk Rocker was an important game because that was like the first game where we broke all the rules. We had the modern bonus buy. And when that really worked, I mean, that was just our strategy, which is set.
So Punk Rocker, was that the game that you definitely saw an uptick in popularity, or when did that happen when you felt that this is working?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really have a hit game before Punk Rocker. And I remember when it was released, same day, later that night, I logged on to Twitch. I had maybe 15 streamers on my favorite list. And 12 out of the 15 were playing Punk Rocker. And 10 out of the 15 were just pounding bonus buy. And that's when I just realized, like, okay, it doesn't matter what people say. This is our future. We have to go with our own way with the themes. We have to work with bonus buy. We have to work with replay and winners. We have to work with things around the games to establish ourselves. And after Punk Rocker, I mean, this was early 2020. I mean, it was quick. I mean, by 21, we were not a small company anymore. We were quite huge and still growing fast. So that was actually when we started to think about, should we sell this company?
How did you sort of balance this with the regular players and catering to streamers, but also to regular players with the bonus buys, and how did they?
Yeah, but I mean, it's a little bit of a trade-off. We get the free marketing, but the game gets really harsh. It's a little bit outside the sweet spot of a good casino game. But I didn't really care because I was not targeting the mainstream slot player. I was targeting a niche which was not really taken in the market. So I didn't want to compete like with the mid volatility, half cute themes thingy. Obviously, like, it was too crowded there. Everyone was there. So I just picked a spot where, high volatility, dark, crazy humor, high max wins. I mean, that's where we should be. And just try to define ourselves into, and that's pretty much we're still there, and nobody else can really come into that area and say that we're better than Nolimit in that area.
Yeah, for sure. It's no one is even close to your craziness, to the wackiness. It's amazing.
Yeah, but I mean, people have to understand it's a strategy. It's not like something we might be a little bit crazy, but it's something we planned for. This is where we want to be because nobody else is there, and then from there we just started building games.
But I'm thinking also like this is a pretty sensitive industry, so to speak. So I'm sure you kind of got some maybe criticism, or I know many some casinos don't take the games, for example, and that sort of thing. So how did you take on that?
I mean, I was disappointed when they didn't take our game. We wanted to do something new because I've always been a little bit annoyed with that, the movie industry or the computer gaming industry or pretty much anyone else. They can do whatever they want. I mean, they don't even know if the players are under 18 or under 15. They just do it. You can do whatever you want in a movie. You can can murder people in a computer game realistically, but in slots you cannot do anything because it's too much. And I was disappointed at that, and I tried to challenge it. And I mean, I was disappointed at some operators, and I probably didn't behave very well. I probably have a couple of, I'm sorry to say, to a few operators that I was a little bit hard, but I was disappointed that they wouldn't get what we were trying to do. But at the same time, with a little bit looking back at it, I mean, these companies, they are maybe owned by a US company or a company that is pretty much run by lawyers, and they just don't want to take risk. So it's just the way it is in some companies, and I sort of accepted that, and yeah, it's just the way it is, and it still is like that. So I mean, when we release games now, they can come back with a list of 10 points, like this is 10 things that we can't accept in the game, so we cannot take it.
So I'm thinking around 2020, something very important happened with the Evolution deal. So maybe we can go into that a bit. And obviously, you still have a lot of creative freedom when you switched over to Evolution.
Yeah.
So that was quite a shock when that happened. I remember when I read the news, I almost fell off my chair. I did not expect that.
Yeah, well, I mean, already in 21, we started to like, okay, this company is big now. Maybe we should sell it. I mean, how are we going to take over the world? We didn't really have good distribution everywhere. So we started to plan for it at least. And then, but still 21, we were still focusing a lot about the games, a lot about like keep on doing a good job. And I mean, we did. 21 was probably the best year ever for Nolimit. But then when we sort of got committed to selling the company, we talked to potential buyers, we talked to advisors, I mean, it became like a second full-time job. I mean, next to building, building games, and next to taking care of the company and all the people who work there. So, I mean, it was a tough period. Because also when you try to sell the company, you don't want it to flatten out, so you want it to grow to keep on happening, and it was a very tough period for me personally. I think for a lot of people at Nolimit, just working very hard, quite a lot of pressure, and selling a company is tough. It's a lot of meetings, it's a lot of preparation, it's a lot of, I mean, you can never sleep, you work all the time. And I mean, and by the time that we agreed with Evolution that, okay, let's do this, I was totally exhausted. So, I mean, after the deal was done, I need a break.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything from you in quite a while, actually. I was a bit worried about you.
Yeah. I mean, I just checked out pretty much, and it was not only being exhausted from the deal. It was some other stuff, like personal stuff, I had to go through at the same time, and everything just seemed to happen. Seemed to happen exactly like summer 22. And maybe one shouldn't underestimate also, like, you always had this sort of target ahead of you. You're always looking for. You're always working for something. But then that sort of all changed, and a lot of things happened at the same time. And I was like, I don't have motivation. I don't have energy to do anything at the moment. So I pretty much logged out for 15 months or something. Worked minimal. But then I started to come back, and I was trying not to look at Nolimit during these months, like summer 22 and over 23. But I was a little bit frustrated about where things were going, and I just started to feel like I want to come back. I want to be in the action again. So from summer 23 or something, I stepped in again gradually, and now I'm
Yeah,
back at
because
work again.
definitely you noticed something happened and there was a shift sort of. So can you just tell me which was the last game you were involved in before you kind of took a break?
I think I released Folsom Prison summer 22. That was
Wow.
the last game.
That's an amazing game. I love that game. I've seen so many crazy wins on that game. No bonus buy wins also.
Yeah, I mean, it was a tough period. I mean, there 21, 22. I was like releasing a game every month. So it was really too much for me. I don't recommend it to anyone. It was like, I mean, I mean, if you read about stress symptoms, I was picking one up, every week of first half of 22. But I couldn't see it myself. I mean, it was like,
Yeah, because
you're so into what you're doing, so you just go with it.
Yeah. We were keeping in touch on Skype a bit, and I noticed that it was a very crazy time for you. Crazy time.
Yeah. I mean, it was just too much. But I mean, at the same time, it was the end of the story with Nolimit, and in one way, it was like me and my partner trying, like, it's like the thing we have been talking about for like 20 years now. And with Nolimit, we were in the front seat, so in the driving seat, so we had to do it, although it was a little bit unhealthy. But I mean, at the time, we had to finish it.
Yeah. So how was the start with the evolution? How did it, like, the transition? Did you notice any difference in?
Well, I wasn't really there. I was just, okay, I need a break. I'll let you know when I'm back. So everything was just left, and it's not like, I don't want to say like, okay, we maybe had a stretch of not so good games, but it's not about me. I mean, there was a lot of external factors that happened. For example, we totally lost the momentum with streamers, starting like 21 maybe, and then definitely 22. Because, I mean, the way it moved with the streaming community was fake streaming. And we sort of did not, agree with that at the time. So we just lost the momentum, and other providers started to come up because they were the ones that were streamed on Twitch and YouTube. So that was, I think, very important for us, that we sort of lost it a little bit there. And of course, like, when you sell a company, it's a little bit of the period after, it's always a little bit weird. People don't really know what to do. Everyone has worked hard. People take a breath. I mean, it's a difficult first year after a company is sold or bought, I think. So we lost a little bit of momentum. We took maybe a little bit too much risk with the games. We lost a little bit about who we are as a company. But I think from sometime late summer 23, we sat down. I mean, a group of very talented people in the company, and we just discussed, and we changed the roadmap a little bit. Not a little bit. We just ripped it out and placed new games in there, and from there we're starting to see improvement, I think. But I think this year it will continue to be. We will continue to see improvement because we have a very strong roadmap ahead of us, I think.
Yeah, but can I just ask, like, what did you think happened when you took a break? Because the shock value was sort of still there, but maybe not enough for.
I mean, it's hard to say. I think it's so many different factors, and many of them are external that happen at the same time. And of course, I mean, I was running the product department, and suddenly I was just not there. So it was a little bit, okay, what happens now? Okay, let's do this. And I don't know. It's like it was a little bit of what's going on, I think. But I mean, still, we did what we were supposed to do. We started to really, the games were released. It's just that we didn't really have that momentum to go with them, and maybe some of them weren't that good, and we just lost a little bit there. But I mean, it's a little bit bound to happen after like 21. How can you follow that up? It's like almost impossible not to have a little bit of a setback.
Yeah, and now you're back, and how are you feeling? Are you like pumped?
No, well, I'm not sure pumped, but I'm back. I'm a little bit wiser. I'm a little bit. What?
The passion is still there.
Passion is still there. I mean, I love working. I love slots. I think it's the most wonderful product and industry in the world. I mean, to some extent, I'm a little bit changed person. I'm not gonna, work the same way I did before, like in 22. That's behind me. But on the other hand, I mean, I'm not the owner of the company anymore. It's a little bit different situation. But I mean, Evolution is it's a great company, and we have a lot of freedom, and they believe in us, and I feel I have a very strong support for what we want to achieve. And in fact, that we have sort of agreed that I'm gonna stay with Nolimit City and just keep on trying to do good things with the company. So that's my mindset anyway.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting, because I'm seeing like Evolution as this very, very big public company, but still it appears you have a lot of creative freedom, and that's actually very nice to see.
Yeah, I mean, we do. I mean, everything comes down to money in the end. I mean, if you show results, you can continue doing it. I mean, still, in any company, there's a lot of improvement that can be done. I mean, Evolution it's a live casino company that started to buy RNG companies. That's RNG is like tremendous competition. A live casino, not so much. So it's going to be a journey for Evolution to make everything work, but I think they are on the right way.
Right. So speaking of the future, what do you see ahead for Nolimit City?
No, but I mean, we've been after this little bit of a setback in 23. We now think we have a quite solid plan. We're going back to basics a little bit more, but at the same time we want to keep the extreme part of Nolimit, and also we want to challenge the more, how can I say, mainstream slot mechanics a little bit more. So what we figured out actually is to do some kind of soft sub-branding. So actually with Kenneth, it's we're gonna have like Nolimit City, or like over the limit, a kind of a sub-branding, which will be totally crazy games. I mean, it's our way of communicating to the players and the operators, like, this is crazy, watch out. And the operators is like, okay, we might not take this game. So
it's a warning sign.
It's a little bit of a warning sign. And then we have like the original Nolimit, which is like a little bit like the games we have done in the past. And where you feel like, okay, this is a true Nolimit City game. And then we also want to move and experiment a little bit. So we have something called labs as well. It's going to come out a few labs game. That might be totally different. You might have max win 1000x, I don't know. So there's going to be a little bit of changes second half of 24.
Oh, that sounds like a big shift, actually. So, yeah. Did you say 1000x wins?
Yeah, I mean, I was just throwing something out, but I mean, we're not ruling out anything. But I mean, we will definitely leave traditional Nolimit City mechanics in some games. So yeah, there's going to be a little bit of changes. I mean, our plan is to attack different sides to get back the momentum a little bit. So there's a lot of initiatives that we're doing right now that maybe this year, end of this year, and then maybe 25 as well will come out, and that will hopefully take us back to a more favorable position.
Yeah, and I think
compared to last year.
From a player point of view and also reviewer, the interesting thing about Nolimit City and your games is that you don't really know what you're gonna get. So there's always this surprise factor as well when you open up a new game. That's pretty awesome. You don't find that in every provider.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of our strategy. I mean, when I look at games or when I look at providers today, a lot of things, I mean, has happened since I got into this industry. I mean, it used to be only about the games and maybe how efficient you were in building them. I mean, the graphics, the animation, the math and stuff. But that's like, there's so many companies now who knows how to do that. So it's not enough just to be good with that, because it's still like hundreds of games being released every month. You have to have more than that. And so I look, I mean, I don't only look at the games, I also look at, I mean, how are things around the games? And there comes bonus buys and jackpots and action spins and the winners, replay, all those things that you have around the game that will help the player to get information or get more excitement and stuff. And that was cool in 2020, 2021. But if you don't have all those in 24, I mean, you're behind. So that's just nowadays. That's just you just need to have a couple of those and be strong in that area. Otherwise, you're just helplessly behind. And in addition, I also look at, do this provider think about brand? I mean, what can a player expect when they open a game? And most providers don't actually. They just make games. They do a banana game, and then they do a diamond game, and they don't really have a plan. They don't have a solid sort of road to what they want to do for the player. They don't think about segments that much. They just do. And it can work, but it's I think it's better if you think about it and have a strategy around it. So that's where I think the difference is now between companies, that they're like true to what they're trying to do. And the future, I think, has a lot to do with like, how do you interact with external things around you? Players, affiliates, streamers, communities. And I mean, that's where I want Nolimit to be best, let's say next year. We already have this sort of a fan page product we're working on that we want to make more interactive and have sort of tournaments and work with affiliates like Big Win Board and do more for the players and directly communicate with them. Because we have all the data, we have all the information, we can package it in a nice way and make it make it fun for the player. So that's something important for us, and that's something that almost no other providers are doing. So that's going to be the future, I think.
Yeah, you mentioned banana games, so that's no banana games expected then.
No, I mean I don't think games will be bananas, but there will not be a
Yeah,
banana
yeah.
game.
But you mentioned communities and so on, and Nolimit City pretty recently launched their own fan platform, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean it's like we want to give the players what other can't do, like real-time data, and I mean we're not gonna have a homepage in a couple of months probably. We're gonna move to fan page with just information about the games, a little bit of community, maybe some tournaments, I don't know, something simple, and then use that as a platform to work with the external world. And of course, the fan page at the moment is just an embryo. I mean, before we're done with it, it will be integrated with streaming and other communities and connecting real money play to that page somehow, not directly at the page, but there will be links that we will explore somehow, and then it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, and one thing I've been thinking of is you've been involved in games like Mental, which is just a crazy game. You get the max win, and the guy get his hand sawed off, and it makes me think like, Jonas, how crazy is your mind?
I mean, I guess it's
how
pretty
dark
crazy.
Is it?
I mean, it's pretty dark as well. I mean, I remember that when I was like Mental. I mean, I made that game, and then we were like at the end of the game, and it was like pushed away because it was just everything was crazy. I was like, I want to saw the guy's hand off, and I was like, okay, don't do it, please, don't do it. I was like, I'm gonna do it because if you're the boss, you can do whatever you want. So I was like, I'm gonna do it. You can, we'll see what happens. And obviously that game was a huge success. So I'm glad that hand came off.
You even got the sound down right and everything.
Yeah. I mean, we have excellent sound guys at the company, so they'll do everything you ask them for.
Yeah, shout out to them. They're awesome, actually. Some of the best sound guys in the industry, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's very important sound. It's underrated in the industry, I would say.
Yeah, most definitely. So I also want to talk about you have a very strong portfolio. So are we going to see some sequels to like big games like Mental,
yes.
Folsom Prison?
Yes, I mean one of the decisions we took, I mean like after the summer, late summer 23, was that okay? We have to find ourselves again. We have to come back a little bit. So we said, okay, let's do a couple of sequels, and let's do a couple of sort of games that are like that we call follow-ups, which is like loosely connected to another game. So there will be. I mean, we already released Fire in the Hole 2, great game, and
awesome
we will just start now working with Mental 2. So that will be me and Lars.
Mental 2.
Me and Lars. Yes, me and Lars will be start working on it like next week or something. After Kenneth.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a couple of other sequels or follow-ups coming out as well. So we're gonna mix some old good titles and reuse a couple of characters. So that can be expected for this year and also next year, so I would say.
Wow. And like a Tombstone Rip with the 300,000x max win, is that beatable, you think? Is it possible to do something crazier than that? Or
I mean, there's a new Rip game coming out. So
that was my point.
Yeah, I mean, there will be also like huge max wins. I don't even know if it's decided where it's gonna end. Obviously, when you do a game like Tombstone Rip with 300,000x, I mean, all that RTP going into the massive wins has to be taken from somewhere. So you end up with a quite harsh game, a game not for everyone. But I mean, I'm sure that now when we have this informal sub-branding, there will be some over-the-limit games that we can only almost do, sort of to cement ourselves as the most crazy provider ever, and then some other games will chill a little bit and make them less crazy.
Yeah, that's good to hear. I also want to talk to you about streaming a bit because personally, I thought streaming was going to go down a bit, not be as popular, but it's going strong. And how much do you follow this streaming community? Do you watch streams?
Not really as much as I did before. I mean, that was one of the things that I did in addition to all the other work I did, and then the day only have so many hours, so I don't really watch that much anymore. But I think streaming is very important, and I think it will still be very important in the future. And we will try to improve our relationship with streamers, and we will also try to, increase budgets for streaming and try to work with them in different ways. But of course, here we have some own initiatives as well that we will sort of incorporate in the fan page, and we will try to figure out different ways to get that type of exposure.
Yeah, because also one of the big things, debate still going on is about the fake streaming. That's obviously still appearing on stream. So what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I mean, I've been talking about that a lot. If you followed me on LinkedIn, and I've been protecting real money streaming for forever. But okay, I'm gonna drop a little bit a bomb now, because the industry around that is changing. I mean, there's no doubt that it works, and it was, I mean, at least to me, it was a little bit more problematic at the beginning when people didn't really know it was fake or not. When it was this is not fake, but it was only a few people that knew it was fake. But now it has come into, now it's so obvious it's fake and everyone knows who is faking it. So it doesn't really matter anymore. And as it turned out, I mean, all the operators making deals, most of them, and nowadays, most of the providers who wants their game being played, they have to start allowing it. And it's a little bit sad, but it's the best business model out there, is just to let it happen. So for me, I mean, for Nolimit, we will start look into it. I think we're already doing it in maybe some Asian markets or whatever. But I mean, for sure, it will be part of most providers' sort of marketing in the future.
Well, why don't you do some streaming yourself?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I can join you. We can do some streaming. But when I changed my mind around this, it was because I remember when we came with the modern bonus buy in 2020, and everyone was buying bonuses. So many slot providers, they were like, "Oh, we're not gonna do it. It's unethical." Why? I mean, I would never do it. I promise you, I will never do it. Many said But then, when the debate about fake streaming, I realized that I was sounding exactly like all those bonus buy enemies did. I was like, it's unethical. I will never do it. I was just a little bit jealous that it actually worked. I mean, providers that actually had it as a strategy to promote fake streaming, they are doing great. So unfortunately, it will be part of the industry in some ways. But I think nowadays it's so obvious who is doing it with real money and who is doing it with totally fake money. And maybe someone is doing it with real money, but they are paid a salary by some company behind the streaming. So it's where does the line go? I mean, I don't even know. And in the future, nobody will care where it goes. It's all about entertainment.
Yeah, exactly.
Who is the best entertainer will get the followers, and from there, it's just the way it is.
Yeah, it's definitely been an uphill battle trying to fight the fake streaming thing, but it made no difference. As you've seen yourself, it just grew bigger and bigger and bigger. And like you said yourself, it's what constitutes fake streaming even? You don't even know today, because some guy is sponsored with money, which is his, he can play with and keep maybe, and someone is getting endless bonuses, deposit bonuses.
Yeah.
So it's very tough to see where. I think there's very few streamers actually who are just paying from their own pocket with their own money. There are some streamers, of course, but the big ones, that everyone's watching, it's a different scenario.
Yeah, I mean, and I have to respect that they have to get paid. I mean, they're doing work, and they need to make sure that, I mean, playing a casino game is expensive, especially if you want to do higher stakes. I mean, they need to get that money back somehow, and of course they're gonna do everything they can to get that money. Yeah. It's just the nature of running a business.
And like at the end of the day, you can say what you want, but I assume that almost every provider, if they see the game being played by like people like Trainwrecks or XQC, they're probably going to be happy about it. It's pretty good exposure, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it works. It's simple as that. It works. People watch it. They probably know it's not real money, but they still like to watch it, and maybe that's good. I mean, you watch someone playing with play money, and you are entertained. Maybe you can play slots with play money yourself and still think it's fun. I don't know.
I do it actually when I go to bed. Sometimes I play slots in demo money. I'm crazy.
Yeah.
I don't get enough.
I do too. I don't gamble slots with real money. It's just like, why should I?
Yeah. Okay. So Jonas, let's move on to. I want to talk a bit about Kenneth, because this game is huge. The anticipation is like crazy. It's been going on for probably a year now. I think we've been waiting for this game.
I mean, probably more. I mean, didn't we start to fool around with this 2 years ago or something? I mean, it was like, I think it was like the idea was born from some dude at Big Win Board complaining about, you always do so hard, nasty themes. And I was like, okay, I'm going to make a dull game for you or something. And then from there, it's like, okay, I mean, you can still use humor in that. And this whole of dolls and Kenneth, I mean, it got born out of that. But then, of course, that game got sort of just started, and then I was on my break, and I didn't really, nobody dared to pick it up. But then when I came back, I was like, okay, let's finish this game. Let's be the first thing I do. So now it's on the way out.
Yeah,
going out.
I was hoping the timing with the Barbie movie would have been great to release it. Like,
I mean, that reference is yours, not mine. The connection. I mean, it's just a game about, the perfect American dream guy and his wife. But of course, as we all know, if you scratch on the surface, there's a deeper, darker side underneath, and pretty much it's what this game is about. It's like underneath the surface, there's something nasty, and we use a little bit of humor on top of it, and that's Kenneth Must Die.
Yeah, and having seen like some images and stuff, I assume some of the casinos won't take this one either.
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of problems. We actually have a censored version you can use. Some regulations like Italy and US, and they are like, okay, you can't do that, you can't say that, you can't sing that, you cannot show that. So we have this sort of weird pixelated version where instead of some words in the music, it's beep sounds instead. So it's like it's weird, but yeah, maybe still playable.
Anything else you want to add, Jonas, before we leave?
No, it's I'm happy we got this done. I'm very thankful to Big Win Board for everything that's happened like over the years. I mean, I always been a great fan, and that's why 2019 we decided that Big Win Board, that's our window towards the best slot players. So and I mean, I still feel the same. And so I mean, even last night I was out commenting on games and discussing with your math with some of your community members, and I really enjoy it. I mean, it's been important for Nolimit overall, I would say.
Oh, that's so nice to hear. Thank you so much, Jonas. And seeing that interaction you have with the players and the members, it's amazing to see. Like there's some really interesting discussions going on there. And you guys always been like big fans and supporters of the site, and appreciate that so much.
Yeah,
I
and
mean, it's so obvious that you're like truly passionate about the community and about creating games, and it's pretty rare to see, actually, in my experience.
yeah, and that was the strategy. I mean, I think Nolimit has done a lot for the for the industry. I mean, not only reinventing bonus buy, which is like now standard in the industry overall. I mean, also about the transparency. When I started writing at Big Win Board 2020, just here's part of the math. Here is like how often this happens in relation to this. I was just starting to talk to your community members, and they was like, wow, can this happen? And now you see that from a lot of other companies as well. They don't.
Yeah.
They are doing the same thing, which I think is good for the industry. And obviously, your members they are slot players and they love slots, so it's the best place to discuss that.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and you definitely started that trend there, with, like you said, with sharing the mats, and so other providers are doing the same thing now. And
yeah, they should pay. Where's my money at?
So like we discussed a bit about doing a promo for Kenneth on Big Win Board.
Oh, yeah, yeah. We said that a long time ago, and now we're almost at release date, and we haven't discussed it. So
maybe we shouldn't.
I'm not sure what we're gonna do.
Maybe we shouldn't share too much our discussion, the plans we had.
Oh yeah, maybe we should suggest to the community to try to figure out a good promotion that we can that we can do in 1 week's time, and something reasonable that we can plan. That would be fun to see what.
Yeah, it would be fun. Yeah. So is that in the bag? Are we gonna do a promo or?
Oh yeah, we can do a promo. I mean, let the people suggest what to do. You can think about it yourself. I mean, I'm there with the prices, whatever that might be. Maybe even some kinky stuff. I know it's been sent
I'm
out.
Down for that.
There's some sex toys at the moment being shipped around to different types of streamers in the world. So we'll see what happens with that.
All right, Jonas.
All right.
So I guess you have anything else to add, or it's been a great talk, actually.
Yeah, it's been a great talk. Let's do it again sometime. Let's do it once per year or something.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not used to this, but it was a lot of fun, and especially talking to you. Like you're an awesome guy.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jonas. Take care.
Okay, cool. Okay, bye.
Bye.